Welcome to this week's episode of The Conscious Evolved Man, where today we will be talking about discipline and what I believe is one of the most transformative forces in the evolution of a man's life. For when we align consciousness and purpose, it becomes less about control and more about the liberation of discipline. It actually becomes the key to become the greatest version of ourselves. And that is one of the major reasons why I'm so passionate to teach, share, and bring forth this wisdom in the journey of the conscious evolved man, because I believe many of these tools, these keys, were not given to us at a young age. And this principle of discipline really, I believe, was introduced to us more from a negative way than a positive. For how many of you remember growing up and when you heard the word discipline, it immediately thought of control or punishment, or there was misconduct, and it brought a negative experience? Versus what happens if discipline is remembering what you want and who you are? Because I really believe discipline is the bridge that connects your dreams to your reality. And there are so many positive advantages and benefits to discipline that it just brings such a gift to bring greater awareness, greater responsibility, and greater levels to understand how important it can be used in our life. Because in today's world, we're really taught to focus on more of the undisciplined, or we're shown that level at a young age, because sometimes growing up, the individual which broke the rules, the rebel, I remember that myself, became the popular one, the one that didn't obey laws. Yet when we move into conscious discipline, we start to see how it really becomes a tool in helping ourselves move into emotional mastery, which our impulses don't control us, because now we're able to pause, to reflect, and to respond in a way that allows us to feel balanced. Discipline allows embodied integrity and self-trust, because when you do what you say you're going to do, you become someone you can rely on. It helps with the power of temptation and addiction, because discipline really frees you from the chains of impulsive cravings, whether it's through diet, whether it's through digital distractions, unhealthy habits, addictions. Discipline actually starts to become what I believe a great key for our achievement, because when we start utilizing it in our highest regard, whether it's through routine, time management, organization, it really allows us a deeper spiritual connection. Because what I really feel, it sharpens the channel between you and the divine. It allows us to grow and evolve, because I feel discipline really is the fuel of our evolution. Because when we show up consistently in our relationships and ourself, we evolve much faster and quicker. Yet there's a lot of challenges with discipline that I feel it's important to talk about. The challenges of meeting that old version of the self, because what happens when the old self is in more control of the unconscious program? Have you ever asked yourself, where in my life do I need more discipline to evolve and grow? Think about that question. Because sometimes we're so quickly focusing on what we think we need to do, yet when it comes to becoming a conscious evolved man and evolving, some of these questions are important for us in our greater evolution. Because a lot of us, including myself, get distracted. There becomes a lack of focus, or there becomes an element where discipline is challenging because we have old habits and we have areas where we stay in our discomfort because discomfort feels comfortable. And when it comes to discipline, it actually allows us to move out of comfort, sometimes into discomfort for our highest and greatest growth. And that's why today I feel discipline is so important to bring forth in our own lives, because imagine when we become more disciplined, we cultivate a greater focus, and then we become the guard of our mind, especially in distraction. When we cultivate discipline, imagine how much trust and faith we're allowing ourselves to move in, especially in this time of fear and worry. And when we really cultivate discipline, it becomes the greatest victory to conquer ourselves. Truly, discipline is one of the areas that I believe allows us to evolve, to expand in the greatest truth that we are. And that's why I feel right along with awareness, communication, responsibility, forgiveness, that discipline becomes such a commitment that we can bring forth in our lives just to live an easier and more graceful time. Because sometimes when we're not disciplined, then we start leaking our energies. We stay stuck in victimhood. We allow that lesser part of ourselves to take the driving wheel. And what happens if you take a moment and you start first thing in the morning, in that golden hour, to plan your day, whether it's through meditation, breath work, journaling, creating a discipline each day, whether it's one step out of a time, to greater allow yourself to live in peace, joy, and happiness. And that's what I feel discipline really helps, because when you formulate this, then you automate the natural divine qualities within you. And it's really not about punishment. It's more about aligning your divine self that you were born to embody. So shifting that old belief from discipline and now bringing it back to see how it can be a daily tool. Just like we have a daily discipline to sleep well, to eat well, to breathe well. Imagine if it becomes a responsibility within each moment that you're choosing, and that it allows this purpose, this mission within you to see what you're here to do. Because as a conscious evolved man, I'm remembering within myself that the more discipline I have, the greater control I have over myself. And when I have more control over myself, then I'm not attuned to my outer world that sometimes looks elusive to what's controlling me. So when I discipline my inner world, I actually master my outer world. And that's where I feel one of the greatest questions is to be the greatest version of yourself. Where is it that I need to bring discipline within me? And for those that want to dive deeper into this 12-week journey of the conscious evolved man, this topic of discipline, we're going to go into the challenges. We're going to go into the pillars. We're going to dive so deep so that it becomes a positive pillar of strength that actually can be applied each and every day. Because you deserve to be the greatest version of yourself. And I truly believe discipline is one of the most powerful keys to open that door and allowing your greatest success. So once again, thank you for joining me on this short introductory video. And for those that want to dive deeper, please email me at ascensionalchemist@gmail.com or click the link below. Wishing you all the most beautiful, blessed day.